the Extreme channel, we are doing an in-depth review of this King Kong statue. This is King Kong meets RoboCop. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X. Obviously I'm kidding, this is not King Kong, it is Mighty Joe Young. This is not Mighty Joe Young, this is actually a Transformer, it's Optimus Prime. Not kidding. We're going to do an in-depth review of this crazy unique piece. Even though it's really not that unique, they made 700 of these. However, not a lot of people are familiar with Transformers Beast Wars, which is where he comes from. Transformers Beast Wars is actually an animated series that aired about 20 years ago. And it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I know people are diehard fans of it. And I think the premise, if I remember correctly, revolves around the fact that it actually takes place in the future. This is not the past, and the Transformers crash landed on a mysterious planet that obviously wasn't very technologically advanced, even though there was a lot of energon source for them. So they kind of blended in with the current animals, which included dinosaurs and giant apes. I've actually done a review on the counterpart of this piece, the Megatron. It's actually right here. You can check it out, because this was a really unique story too. And the reason why I purchased him is I was a big fan of that Megatron piece, but I didn't like it as a standalone piece. And kind of a spoiler, I got him in. It was kind of a reluctant buy. I'm one of those impulse buyers that I have to complete a set. These are the only two pieces that were ever made. I like him just as much as Megatron, which was kind of shocking. In this series, they are actually not called Autobots and Decepticons. The Autobots are called Maximals. And this actually isn't Optimus Prime, it's Optimus Primal. So a little bit of difference there. And the Decepticons are actually called predacons. This piece was actually manufactured and distributed by Prime 1 Studios. Prime 1 Studios is a huge player in the Transformers market. At the end of this video, I'm actually going to show you links to a lot of the other Transformers statues I've done, not only based off the Michael Bay movies, but Generation 1, and then of course these. But before we dive into the review, we are doing some giveaways for you guys. The first giveaway is, all you have to do is comment. Every month I pick 2 random videos and 2 random comments, and those people win little gift packets sent to their house. The second contest going on is right here. On our road to 20,000 subs, we are giving out this Mortal Kombat statue at 12,500 subs. All you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification, and stay tuned for that giveaway. So let's get started on the in-depth review, and we're going to start like we always do with concept. Concept is, what is this piece about? Is it accurate? Is it cool? And really, I don't know how accurate it is because it's been so long since I've watched Beast Wars. So some of you can help me out in the comments when I get things wrong, or if that bothers you, you can just pray through it. But as always, let's start with the base, and both pieces have amazing bases. One of the things I love about this is it incorporates some of the high-tech stuff, as you see on the sides of what I would call the sub-base. And there's some crazy stuff going on there we'll look at in paint and sculpt. But as you move up, it's more of a forest setting. And not only is it a forest setting, but he has a fallen enemy. And I do not know who this particular Transformer is, but he looks awesome. And I would love if they would make a full-size statue with this. It's a shame they stopped with just these 2 pieces. But you see him broken in pieces, some fallen parts. And as you move up, Optimus Primal, you'll see that he is half robot, half ape. And it's interesting how they choose the transformation. And just like I talked about in the Megatron review, some of this doesn't flow well with me. I don't like things that transform from a human organic or an animal organic figure into a robot, but it looks really cool on this. So I can kind of get over that. It doesn't bother me as much. You see different parts of the robot, you see different parts of the ape, and it's interesting how some of the ape pieces stayed together, but they moved when he transformed. And he has some weapons coming out, not only a sword in his left hand, but some blasters on the forearm of his right hand, and then some awesome cannons in the back. And he is looking pretty stoked. He has 3 different portraits we're going to look at. This one is kind of just come and get me. It's a great fight-off stance versus Megatron, which I'm going to talk about in a second. One of the things I don't like, it almost looks like he's looking at his fist. You can slightly turn his head, but that I'm not a fan of. So one of the interesting parts about this, I think they tied everything they could. You can definitely tell it's a Transformer. You can tell that he used to be an ape. They have some of the weapons coming out in the cool areas. The base tells a huge story with both the futuristic elements and the kind of dinosaur but Land Before Time elements. The fallen enemy on the base, that is pretty cool. I'm actually going to give the concept a 4 out of 5. It would almost be a 5 out of 5 if he wasn't staring at his fist. So I appreciate everything they did here. It's badass, it's different, it's unique. And what's crazy is a lot of people aren't into this Optimus piece. They love the Megatron. That's long sold out, sells for a lot more. This one's still available at retail. In fact, I bought this during their sale when they discounted it, which we'll talk about during value. So let's check out design. First, I want to show you a few things. Both the base and the statue are extremely heavy, and he has a badass art box. Check this out. This is really, really cool. I'm not a huge art box guy, but I like this one, and I definitely think it's worth noticing. And then here's the packaging for those of you that get your jollies off on that. 2 different layers, extremely heavy. And here's a little clip of the assembly for you guys. Now let's get dimensions really quick for you. So his highest point is right at a little over 24 inches. I would say his widest point, which is his sword to the base, is a little over 18 inches. And then if you had to look, we'll look at depth in a second. One thing I do want to let you guys know, if you want to see what he looks like in my collection, go ahead and check out the Extreme Channel Facebook page. The description is in the link below. And then make sure not only have you followed it, but you actually hit that like button. It really helps with visibility. I not only show pictures of my pieces from here, but some other funny quirks. I actually recently posted about what I do for a living. So, I kill aliens, by the way. He is about 17 inches deep. I did have some issues assembling him together, and the members actually saw that. So if you're interested in membership, what does that mean? That means you get behind the scene videos, you get raw stuff, you get vlogs, things like that. You can actually check out this video right here, and it'll tell you a little bit more. Hit that join button down below, right down there. But one of the big issues I had is his left foot does not key in all the way. Take a look at this picture. I worked on this for quite a while. He doesn't go down, and because of that, he is not stable. And what's ironic is this is the second Prime 1 Studios Transformer piece that I had a similar problem with, which is really unfortunate because Prime 1 Studios quality is usually very good, but you know what? Happens. All right, here's all the different pieces. There was quite a few more than I assumed. Assembly was very easy. They did have instructions, but you can really figure everything out pretty easily, and I really appreciated that. It did come with a few different portraits, so let's look at those. First one here is this first one is actually one that didn't come with this piece. This only comes with 200 of the pieces. This is the exclusive head. His battle mask is covering his entire mouth. I thought this was badass and the best. However, this has been long sold out with a low ES, so it goes for quite a bit of money. Now the next one is his battle mask is kind of open, but his mouth is still closed. This is my least favorite, and it's very similar to the one I have displayed, but I do like the one I have displayed a little bit better, which is right here. So I went ahead and put the other one back in the box, but this is my favorite one, so we'll look at this close up with paint and sculpt. Now he also does have a light up feature, just in the head where his eyes light up. I'm not even going to get the batteries out. It didn't come with batteries, and I never use the feature anyway. And usually with these Prime 1 Transformers pieces, even if you don't use the batteries, they die in 6 months, so they're kind of pointless other than on day one. So one thing I really like about this piece is the displayability of it. It is a large piece, so this is what they call non-scaled, so they didn't have a scale to it. Most people think this is about 1/10 or 1/12 scale, meaning that he would, in real life, he'd be 10 times the size of this. And I think that's probably about accurate. Their Transformer pieces are known to be 1/10 or non-scale. They're Michael Bay Transformer pieces, and this is a little bit smaller than that. But I like the fact that the base is round, it's not square. There's not really a lot of wasted space, which I think is a crime with some of the Transformer pieces that come out. There's so much wasted space. Here they really went all out. It's almost close to a diorama with the fallen victim and the trees and the rocks and the leaves. I think they did a great job in implementing all of that. Because mine has a quality issue, that does definitely affect it, but I love everything else they did with the design. I can't think of anything I've really changed other than making his head turn to the front a little bit. So most of their Transformer pieces have the ability to turn the head. This does not, so again, he stares more at that fist, which maybe his enemy is over there, but for displayability purposes, if you wanted to see the face, I think that's an issue as well. So I think design-wise, I would have given it a 4 out of 5, but because I have quality control issues with mine, it's very nice. It's 3 out of 5. Nothing horrible, nothing great. Now we're going to dive into the paint and sculpt, and I do have video of this piece towards the end. So let's do the pictures first, and we'll start with this base right here. I love this sub base. I love everything that's going on here. The design of it, the paint color's, you know, kind of minimal, but I think it's good contrast. You have the gold and the silver, but there's almost dials and switches and just kind of all sorts of futuristic stuff. And then there's a symbol right here, and I assume this is the symbol of the Maximals. And what's interesting is the symbol is on the front and the back. It's the same symbol, so it's not necessarily the Autobot symbol, but it's the symbol of the Maximals, the good Transformers from Beast Wars. On the base, I want to look at the mud. I think the mud's a big miss. It's very boring. It looks like, literally looks like feces. They could have added maybe a moist, clear resin effect to make it look a little more real. It looks like wet and dry mud at the same time. I think some texture would have helped. I think that's the weakest part of the statue, which thankfully is not that important. One thing they did is they added a lot of greenery to assist with that, which includes some of these leaves here. And these were things that you put in after these leaves, plants growing. These look fantastic. They are plastic or resin, but they don't look it. They really don't. I think they did a great job with the texture on them, and the paint job really makes it pop. Then you also have almost like moss growing on the rock he's standing on and some of the other mud, and that looks okay. It's on the tree as well. And speaking of the tree looks good. I like the tree, some good texture on there. It's not one of the best trees I've ever seen, but it's better than the mud. And they have these mushrooms growing out of the back. Kind of a cool Easter egg you'll never see. I like at the top where it's broken off, it looks very accurate, what you would expect. Now let's look at his badass fallen enemy. First of all, there's pieces of him all over the place, but you mainly see his arm and his portrait. So he was some type of large insect, praying mantis, I kind of think. Like I said, I would have loved that if this was a full statue. I would buy this. It's a shame they only stopped with Megatron and Optimus Primal. But very cool. I think the colors also add a good contrast to an already dark statue. Let's look at his feet. One of the things they did a good job is they added a little bit of splatter from the mud below, and it looks really good. I see people fail on this all the time. The way it's splattered on there, and it's on the silver aspect of the mechanical foot. Very, very smart. He almost has like these pistons on the front. I like the red they added into the statue. You're going to see that in a few of the robotic areas. It's a very smart move. It just makes the statue pop a little more. Also gives you the insinuation he's a good guy. Check out his fur. This is sculpted fur, and for sculpted fur, which is really difficult to do, or hair, whatever you want to call it, I think it looks really good. They did some nice shading with some whites and blacks in there to really mix it up, and the flow of it is really nice. It's no doubt that it is a monkey or an ape, and it's all over, whether it's on the shoulder pads or arms or legs. Check out the top of his legs, the robotic parts here. Now they added a contrast of off-white. Again, it gives you that illusion that this is a good guy. This is a Autobot or a Maximal. This is one of the good Transformers mixed with the red. And then you see all this type of piping and tubes that has this rusted black splatter all over them to give it some age and wear. I like that. And it's almost contoured to what the proper anatomy would be on legs like that, which is smart. Let's look at the front of his torso. He has kind of this Optimus Prime, Energon source going on, almost like, it's his chest is where his power comes from. It would have been cool if this lit up as well. Maybe it does, and I just don't know because I haven't put the batteries in. I think that would have put it over the top. I doubt that it does, and if someone knows better, they can let me know. But they have different shades in here. It's not just silver, but almost some light tints of blue, which I appreciate, and I like it. It's almost like a piece of armor. Check out the back of the torso. Mostly what you see is hair, the fur, but you do see some the robotic aspects of it where he actually transforms. So it's cool they put that in there, but this will be facing the back of my display, so you'll never see that. His arms, a lot of what you saw on his legs, the reds, whites, and silvers mixed together, some cool patterns and designs, and this is shiny. All of this is, the robotic part is pretty shiny, which is, again, another great contrast. This statue really has a lot of things that make it contrast and pop. Let's look at his gorilla hands really quick. These are probably the weakest part of the statue. Mine had a little bit of a paint scuff. Not really a huge deal, not going to lose sleep over it. But the hands look okay. They could have given it a little bit more texture for like gorilla padded hands, but they're not really showing, so it's not a big deal. I like his sword that he's holding with his left hand. It's more of like a scythe, and it's a mix between like a medieval weapon and a futuristic transformer piece. And the blue they added on it is, matches with his portrait and where his belt buckle would be. And there's some good wear throughout this, some weathering on it. Look at his guns on his right hand. I love these. I love how they just kind of pop out. The colorization is good, but kind of a cool Easter egg. Very, very neat aspect of it. Let's check out his guns on the back. These cannons, again, they just add another element, not necessarily on the paint and sculpt, but the concept of the statue. But just like the other weapons, you see some shininess, you see some wear, some weathering in there. And I love how it shows. You can really tell where they'd be hidden when he transforms. Very, very smart. And here's his portrait. His portrait is average, I think. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. It doesn't stand out to me as the rest of the body does. Again, I don't remember how accurate this would look. I don't know if they did their own modern take on it, but it has a lot of Optimus Prime features in it. So I like that they kind of stay true, to the character. Optimus Primal is from Optimus Prime, or however that works. And it used the combination of colors that it had everywhere else on the robotic parts. It has the silver, has the white, has the red, has the blue. I love how clean the paint is. I love the different contrast colors they use. I love some of it's shiny, some of it's dull. Like I said, I think a big opportunity on the mud on the base, but that's about it. Otherwise, the statue really pops with paint. So I think it's a 4 out of 5. It's a W. I really appreciate what they did. The sculpt, I'm a little less forgiving on the top of the base here. Other than the fallen character, I think the entire top of the base had some more sculpt opportunity. On the robot, or Optimus Primal himself, I can't find something I would improve, and I love the outside of this. But for that reason, I give the sculpt also a 4 out of 5. It's really well done. Like I said, I'm surprised at how much more I like this than the Megatron statue. So with that being said, let's talk about value. So this retails for $1,000. I got it during the winter sale at Prime One Studios, and it was $1,000. Unfortunately, I did not get a discount, but they gave me triple points. What that means is I got $150, 15% credit towards future purchases. So it's kind of like I got $150 off. I got it for economy shipping for $60, so it took damn near 5 months to get here, which wasn't a big deal. And in the end, I paid $850 plus $60 shipping. So for a Transformers piece that they've only made 700 of, and I honestly think he's better than Megatron, and since I have Megatron, I think that adds to the value. I think the value of this piece is a 4 out of 5. I can understand why people wouldn't want to buy it if they don't have Megatron. And honestly, I think one thing that really hurts the value is in the future, they're not making any more. So that's really gonna, downgrade it unless another company picks it up and has similar scale. So there are issues with that, but hell, a Transformers piece for under $1,000 that is this beautiful is hard to find. So overall score, where do we rate this guy? I was hoping he would be a very nice. Before I got him in hand, and a few people who I've talked to said he's amazing. I didn't believe it. I believe it now. I think he's a rail. I don't think he's a grail. I think he's a 4 out of 5 overall for X Factor. I think that he's something that people really want, especially if they've seen it in hand, but they're not going to, kill their mothers to get them. Some statues you may. Now, with that being said, let me show you some close-up videos of this awesome monkey. So let me know what you guys think. One of the things I was wondering is how badass. So let me know what you guys think. One of the things I was wondering is how badass would this look next to Prime 1 Studios King Kong right here. As you guys know, this is a piece I really want, but I'm so on the fence about, especially just due to the shipping prices, but we'll see. So let me know that in the comments. But hey, to everyone that stuck in this long, a big thank you. I like that.
That's what she said.
And if you're interested in checking out some of those other Transformer videos, click on that Prime 1 Studios playlist or the other Transformer review, and make sure you subscribe by hitting that Mr. X logo, like, comment, do all that good crap, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.